Indirect talks are concluded, and handshake are done with no joint statement or breakthrough agreement coming out in Oman.
Iran for Iran.
The US strike on Iran. The US calling on Iran. Does Iran where?
The only clear message from the United States is that its citizens should leave Iran, while a US naval armada remains positioned near Iranian waters. In this video, I'll explain you very simply what the United States is actually trying to achieve with its approach in Iran. For the past many days now, Middle East, especially Iran, has been sitting on a ticking time bomb. After the conflict between Iran and Israel last year, and US strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. Even after the ceasefire, tensions have not eased. It just went silent. US has repeatedly warned Tehran about the consequences of continuing its nuclear enrichment efforts. It was more like United States looking for some opportunity. And then came January 2026, Iran's economic crisis, driven by years of international sanctions and structural decline, reached a breaking point. Inflation soared, the currency collapsed, and large sections of the population faced hardship. Widespread protests erupted across the country. The Iranian government responded with force, and the unrest was met with a harsh crackdown. Thousands of protesters were reportedly killed, detained, or injured as security forces sought to suppress dissent. The U.S. saw an opening. Rather than de-escalating, President Donald Trump signaled support for the protesters and warned Iran to halt its repression. At the same time, Washington positioned military assets, including aircraft carriers, destroyers, and fighter jets, near Iran in the Gulf. The message was clear: either negotiate with us or face consequences. So, what is the U.S. strategy here? It's neither about Iranian protesters nor about saving a country from economic hardships. It's also not about just Israel and region security. Look closely at what's happening around geopolitically. First Venezuela, then Greenland, and now Iran. Something common in all of them, right? It's resources and strategic choke points. First, let's talk about Venezuela. It has huge oil and minerals reserve, but here's the problem. China and Russia buying discounted Venezuelan oil through ghost tankers, black market routes bypassing Western sanction, and gradually increasing its influence in United States' backyard, something U.S. didn't like. What happens next? U.S. started seizing ghost tankers, and all of a sudden regime got changed. Now, why United States did that? Because control over Venezuela is equals to control over oil supply route. More importantly, it cuts China from cheaper energy access. If you know, China economy heavily depend on coal and then cheap imported energy, that is oil. China is one of the largest oil importer, so control over this can slow down China industrial machine. Now look at Iran. China buys massive discounted oil from Iran. Now imagine the situation of a regime or influence change in Tehran. It would give the United States more leverage than you can think. More control over Iran means greater influence over Iranian energy, stronger position in the Middle East, pressure on China's energy security, regional security for Israel, and enable greater control over the Strait of Hormuz. This waterway isn't just a Gulf local feature, it's one of the world's most important energy choke points, central to global oil and gas trade. I hope you're getting it. It's like hitting two birds from one stone. Now you might be thinking, why would the United States go through all of this? Why risk more friction in the region? Why risk destabilizing the Middle East even further? Now here's the very important part. I want you to zoom out a bit and see. Recall the recent economic rivalry when Donald Trump imposed steep tariffs on Chinese goods as part of broader pressure on Beijing. In response, China has wielded its dominance in rare earth metals, critical materials used in tech, defense, and clean energy, by tightening export controls on several rare earths and related products that the U.S. heavily depends on. Now that was the tipping point. A hard-hitting realization for the United States that China can stop critical metals, which is essential not just to consumer electronics, but to advanced technologies like fighter jets, semiconductors, and AI chips. A leverage gifted to China by United States only. I've explained China growth of rare earth in this video in detail, you can check it out. Now you can also understand Trump's obsession over Greenland, right? Greenland, Venezuela, and Iran, these aren't random flashpoints. They represent resources and geopolitical leverage that can help the U.S. counterbalance China and others in long-term strategic competition. This is United States saying, you restrict our rare earth metals, we can also choke your energy security. Tit for tat. I will keep you updated further as things progresses. Hope you found this video informative. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.